Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. I don't have a book review for you ready now because this is a bonus video that comes out on my birthday, and I thought I would do something a little bit more fun. Namely, I would try to figure out what my main character's D&D or Dungeons and Dragons alignments are. I already have some idea of what their alignments are, but I want to see if a more official source would agree with me. I found quite a few D&D alignment tests, but the one I've seen recommended the most is this one from easydamus.com. I did go a little bit through the rest of the site to figure out, what it is, what it is about them that makes them characteristic, or what makes them, better than the rest. And I have to say, I found some things that were a little bit iffy, that kind of blur the line between their conceptions of roleplay and real life. But overall, I think it is. Quite honest within its, within its assessments. Also, because I'm going to be taking this quiz 4 times, I have no way of knowing how long this video will be. You who are watching this will notice more than me. So with that out of the way, preamble over. It's time I delved into this little question, into this test. Question 1: Family elders are expressing disapproval of you to the rest of the family. I'm gonna start by answering this quiz for Martha, who is. It could be safe to call my primary MC. So, family elders are expressing disapproval of you to the rest of the family. This is going to be kind of a tricky question for her because, her family does have elders, one side of her grandparents. Um, but overall, and I'm not sure they've ever expressed disapproval with her. I'm gonna have to consider that. Anyway, they're expressing disapproval. Do you, or does she, accept the criticism and change her ways? Seek a compromise? Besmirch the reputation of those expressing disapproval as she ignores their scorn, or silence them any way she can? Well, honestly, I think Martha would most likely approach this from a position of trying to compromise, because she still is quite willful. She has her own intentions, and she has her own ideas, and and even though she wants people to support her, she realizes that's not always possible, and the figures, and it's not unlikely, and I don't think she would find it that unlikely that the people who you know wouldn't the characters, people who wouldn't support her, would be people who she's related to. Anyway, moving ahead. Would you give up a promising career to aid the family in a time of need? What do we mean by give up? As in step down for a while, or never take up that career again? Because honestly, I'm gonna have to say, oh, look at that. In a heartbeat, with some reluctance, only if she could return to the career. I'm gonna say with some reluctance, because if she really has, if there are pragmatic reasons why she would have to entirely give up her career, she would do it, but she would not like it at all. So got that. Would you betray a family member to advance your own career? Never. That is not. That is not Martha's thing. I could think of an exception, but that exception would be tied to something beyond just her own career. So for that, I'm gonna say that the very idea is abhorrent to her. Does she respect the leaders of her family? She she's actually quite confrontational with with both her parents. So uh, I'm still gonna say they're role models because she still looks at them for guidance, but guidance isn't guidance is an indication rather than a fixation. So yeah, they're role models. If her family had arranged her marriage to someone loathsome, would she go through with it? Agree? Go through with it? Proud to serve the family. Agree? Hiding reluctance. Subtly work against it, or flee. Okay, this actually taps into something. This actually taps into something else because Martha Martha is to some extent uh, uh, or to some extent holds a feminist understanding, as in she wants people to do um, whatever she wants with whatever they want with their lives, uh, within reason, of course. And arranged marriages, particularly arranged marriages for women who have had issues with arranged marriages throughout the history of society, would perhaps be an especially sour point. I would say it depends. I would say it depends on various factors outside of the marriage itself. But my answer would be I think she would hide her reluctance and just go along with it. Maybe get a lover or something. If she were estranged from a family member, so she's estranged from a family member on his deathbed. Okay, we're assuming the family member is a he. He seeks reconciliation. Speak but hold your ground. Refuse to speak. Discuss your estrangement. Actively seek reconciliation. I would say discuss estrangement. Again, she is pragmatic first and foremost. She wants she wants she wants something beyond emotional comfort. Next up, a powerful but corrupt judge offers her wealth if she'll testify against her friend. Oh, definitely. Testify on a friend's behalf. That is definitely what she would do. Like, she really doesn't care about wealth. She'll stand for what's right. Okay. Does she become close to friends, or does she hold most people at a safe distance? I'm going to say. So let's see. Abundance of close friends, some close friends, few close friends, few close friends. She does actually share a lot of her confidence to people who prove themselves. Has she ever betrayed someone? Let's see. More than once. Once. Tempted to do so. Never contemplated it. I think she would be tempted, but never actually do it herself. How does she view lifelong commitment to a single romantic partner? Well, it's pretty much her ideal. It's what she grew up with. She has a very chivalrous attitude, so that to some extent applies to applies to romance as well. So finding that one person for life is something she would be she would want. So she either wants such a romance, considers it ideal if achievable. I'm gonna say she wants that. Next up, does she insist on repayment when lending money to friends? Yes, I think yes she would. She might, but she wouldn't write up a contract, or at least she wouldn't formally write one up. She might be tempted to, but no. Let's see. I try to be flexible about the exact terms. Well, there is. I don't think she would. I'm not sure how flexible she would be. She would probably agree to X money in X time, but beyond that, there should be an option between these two. I'm gonna say. Also depends on the characteristics of the loan. Like, why does the friend need money? I think this one might be most closely applicable. Is she still in touch with childhood friends? Well, she is still in touch with her best friend, but other people. Let's see. She corresponds regularly. Not the case. Try to keep in touch. Move around too much. Nothing in common with them anymore. I don't think that would be her frame of mind. I would say she tries to keep in touch, but that's not necessarily a top item on her list. Moving ahead, does she donate time and money to improve the local community? Needs of the community are top priority. Donate as much as she can. Not enough time or money to spare. Well, community would be a waste. Well, she's military, so in some sense, she is actually donating her life to to improving it or to keeping it safe. But outside of that, I think this applies to her. Donates once her once her needs are met, because again, she is pragmatical. First of all, your community is threatened with invasion. Help defend it to her last breath. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If she were injured and required immediate assistance, would members of her hometown agree to help? Yes, because they know she'd do the same for them. Yes, because she's generally well liked. Well, let's see. Instead of hometown, I think we can say home community, because she was actually born and raised in the capital. So I think this one applies best. They know she'd do the same. Anyway, moving ahead. Does she respect the laws and authorities of the community? Without question, they're generally the best way to govern. When it suits her, she doesn't pay attention. They're generally the best way to govern. That would be her reply. Do members of her hometown shun, avoid, or mock her? Small minds can't handle anything outside the norm. Some do. She's generally seen as normal. She sets the standard for what is normal in her community. I don't think she really is that self-absorbed to consider herself the standard of normalcy. If anything, she absorbs the standard of normalcy. So I'm gonna say this is more generally applies to her. Would she stand for office or seek to represent the interests of the community in some public manner? To do so would be an honor she'd joyously accept. Maybe not joyously, but okay. Of course, it's everyone's duty, only if no one else can do it. No, she doesn't want to. I'm gonna say she'd be tempted to do so, somewhere between these two. I'm gonna say this. Her country is racked with famine. Does she share what food she has, eat as little as possible herself, steal what she needs to survive, steal as much as possible, then sell back at a high price? I'm gonna say I think she would share food to the extent that she can. Okay. If offered enough money, would she slip a poison into the king's drink? That's a tricky question. Depends on the king. I would say it depends on the king. She's done similar things before. Kinda, but that counts as a spoiler. Yes, if she thought she could get away with it. No, although money would tempt her. No, and she'd warn the king of the plot. I guess this question assumes that the king himself is a legitimate. It's not just a legitimate ruler, but also a good ruler, because nothing about a question really indicates that not to be the case. I think she would, if she were actually given this kind of plot, she would most likely warn him. A plague is sweeping the country. Does she undertake a mission to find a cure, heal the sick, avoid contact, flee the country? She would do what she thinks she is most capable of doing, and while she does have some healing capabilities, they might not extend to a plague. So I think she would go to find a cure. Do you respect the lawful authority? Long live the queen. Our rulers are generally fair and just. Ruler is no better than anyone else. Rulers are invariably corrupted by power. I'm gonna say this would be her answer. If offered a reasonably lucrative deal, would she spy on a hostile foreign power? Yes, because the nation could this nation could be knocked down a peg. Yes, because the nation's secrets mean little to me. Oh, would you spy for a hostile foreign power? No, because she might get caught. No, because she'd never violate the trust her nation puts in her. Yeah, that's definitely it. She is military after all. Let's see. Does she rely on government to enforce contracts and property rights? Yes, because maintaining the rule of law is more important than any individual dispute. Yes, because the courts are best equipped to handle such disputes. The government can't even pave roads. Okay, absolutely not. She can't defend it herself, she doesn't deserve to have it. She does not think of things that way, because keep in mind, because I think the first question that would come to mind to her would be that when she sleeps she can't defend herself, but still deserves to have things, to the extent to which people can generally have things. So I think she would settle for this. I think she'll settle for this question, for this answer of the question. Maintaining the rule of law is more important than any individual dispute. The rule of law can be tyrannical, and she knows that. Let's see, next up. If imprisoned, would she injure or kill others to escape? Let's see. Serves them right for locking me up. For locking her. Maybe. They knew the risks when they took the job. No, except for minor wounds that will heal easily. No, those guards are just doing their jobs. She would generally seek the if she wanted to escape, she would seek the most effective, the most clean way to do so. So she wouldn't go out of her way to injure or kill people. But if injuring or killing is the only available option, then she will then she'll take it. So I'm going to say yes. Does she accept the noble's right to badly treat the serfs who work on his land? No. Nobles should rule as kindly as possible. No one has any right to treat another badly. Nobles should be as kindly as possible. That is her. That is what she holds. Again, she has she holds on to a chivalrous attitude and very much presents herself in that manner. She expects others to apply themselves to a similar standard. Next up, you have accidentally committed a crime. Does she turn herself in and attempt to make restitution to the victim? Turn herself in, throwing herself at the mercy of the court, hide her involvement, or try to pin the crime on another? She would turn herself in, even if accidental. She would try to, she would say it was her and try to make nice, as it were. Next up, if guilty, would she confess to a crime? Yes, because it is her duty. Yes, because it would get her a lighter sentence. No, it's up to the magistrates to prove her guilt. No, she'd try to prove her own innocence. No, in that sense, she is if she's confessed the crime, and she or rather, it depends on the severity, on the exact nature of the crime. If for example she attacks an abusive cop, she would not say she beat up a cop. She would say she did her civic duty and defended whoever the cop was beating up. But otherwise, I'm gonna say. But for the first of this question, I think this is the best available answer. Would she express a revolutionary political opinion if threatened with punishment? She kind of does that in the second book. She'd rather be punished than remain silent. Someone has to speak the truth. No, although she might privately express her opinions. No, politics aren't worth getting worked up about. Oh, she would definitely not. She would definitely not think that. Next, I think this one is most closely applicable. Someone has to speak the truth. While traveling, she witnesses an assault. She is ordered to testify, which will delay her travel significantly. Okay, slip out of town to avoid testifying. Deny anything. Remain reluctantly. Remain until the trial's conclusion. This is tricky because she could be traveling, in the interest of service. And to that end, I think it depends on whether or not her superiors have any particular allegiance to the jurisdiction within which the assault takes place. Typically they do have to work together though, so I'm gonna say she would. So let's see, reluctantly and leave after testifying. And again, if she travels, I think she'll do this. and try to be as far with her try to be as far while testifying to make sure she doesn't have to come back again. What is the best use of wealth? Help the destitute and less fortunate, provide for the needs of friends and family, stay on top of the heap herself, to not only stay on top but keep others from climbing. No, she would definitely do this. When confronted by beggars, does she give generously, moderately, only what she wouldn't miss? Ignore them. I think that very much depends. She might she might give moderately, but otherwise, maybe seek to help them, other ways. By using magic, she could fool village merchants into thinking copper pieces are gold. Would she? So let's see. Does she? And buy as much as she can, only to cheat rich merchants. Too risky. Merchants have families to feed. If she's undercover and her cover would be blown otherwise, I definitely think she would do that. But otherwise she's more honest that way. So this is my answer. Let's see. She has 2 job offers. One pays more, the other is secure and steady. Definitely the lucrative, preferably the lucrative, the secure job, unless the other job was outrageously lucrative. Definitely the secure job. She plans for the long term. I'll say she definitely plans for the long term. What's the best path to wealth? It's a matter of luck and being in the right place at the right time, staying flexible so you can take advantage of good opportunities, following a long-term plan that incorporates a comfortable level of risk, hard work and perseverance. It takes more than that, and she very much knows it. Like, servants used to work hard and persevere, but they still remain servants. They might rise through the household, but but that doesn't really give them any doesn't really give them a lot of prestige, especially not when compared to people who were born into it. I think her answer would be this. If she accepted a job or contract, would she try to finish the task even if it got more dangerous? Her word is her bond. It's good to have a reputation for dependability. She'd be renegotiating, or if it's no longer a good deal, the deal is off. I'm gonna say her word is her bond. That's what she cares about. Okay, before clicking, make sure JavaScript is enabled and all pop-up window managers are disabled. I think I have one on, but let's see. What's my alignment? Oh, look at that. She's lawful good. As I knew she would be, to be honest. That's how I, that's how I designed her. Lawful good acts as a good person is expected or required to. Combines a commitment to oppose evil with a discipline to fight relentlessly. Tells the truth, keeps her word, helps those in need, speaks out against injustice. Lawful good characterizes to see the guilty go unpunished. Lawful good is the best alignment you can be because it combines honor and compassion. Lawful good can be a dangerous alignment when it restricts freedom and criminalizes self-interest. Yeah, kind of a tricky point, but whatever. Okay, closing the window. Now I'm gonna go through this whole quiz again. This time, let's see, how long did this take? 25 minutes? Whoa. Okay, settle in for a long one. Now I'm gonna answer this for for Elisabeth Hale, or just Elisabeth, my second character. So let's see. Family elders are expressing disapproval of her to the rest of the family. I don't think she would seek compromise. I think she would. What would Liz do? Besmirch their reputation as she ignores their scorn. Yeah, I think that fits her best. Would she give up a promising career to aid the family? Depends which members of the family. If it's her dad who helped her out with everything in any way he could, then I could say the answer. I could say the answer would be yes. But when it comes to extended family, she does not have a similar loyalty, so she would go for this. Would she betray a family member to advance her own career? Again, that depends on the condition. If it, because advancing her career revolves around defending the security of a nation. So if a family member, in any way threatens the security of the nation, then I think she would, do it. Maybe not without a twinge of guilt, but she would if she could do it secretly. She's kind of a snake in that way. Does she respect the leaders of her family? She is the leader of her family. Let's see. But if someone else were to take ownership, or to take on that, that role over her, or to attempt to take over that role over her family, I think she would, she would consider them often out of touch. Let's see. If her family had arranged her marriage, would she subtly work against the union? If she is embedded within a family to the point where she has a marriage arranged, she realizes that she can't just flee. She has a more pragmatic approach. So she would try to work against the union in whatever way she can. Next up, she's estranged from a family member, and on their deathbed, the family member seeks reconciliation. What does she do? Speak to them, but hold her ground. I think is the most. I think that's what she would. That's what she would do, assuming she could. Because she could have other commitments. Next up, a powerful but corrupt judge offers her wealth if she testifies against her friend. Refuses the offer and refuses to testify. If she is called in for the trial, then she might testify. But if the offer is given specifically to testify against her friend, she would definitely refuse it. Does she become close to friends, or does she hold most people at a safe distance? Hold most people at a distance. She has no problem getting to know people, but she knows most of them are kind of tricky, so she'll try to keep them at a distance. She literally has one friend. Okay, maybe 2 or 3. Has she ever betrayed a friend? Once. Yes. Let's see. How does she view lifelong commitment to a single romantic partner? Ideal if achievable. She'd worry she'd miss out. Tie herself to one person, huge mistake. This one is actually kind of tough to answer on her behalf. I'm gonna say she'd worry. because it's possible she would have seen a lot of good relationships turn sour. So that would weigh a little bit on her mind. Does she insist on repayment when lending money to friends? She is much more likely to actually write up a contract than Elisabeth, so this definitely applies to her as well. Is she still in touch with childhood friends? Um, she doesn't have many, but she does try to keep in touch with the ones she has. So this answer stays the same. Does she donate time and money to improve the local community? She would donate as much, as she can once her own needs are met. I think this is the one that maybe most closely approaches the correct answer. Uh, Next up, her community is threatened with invasion. Does she help defend it to her last breath? Well, yeah, she's military. Or does she defend the area with the rest of her community? So that's enough. So yeah, wait a second. There are differences. She can either do it alone to her last breath or with the rest of her community. Is that how this question is framed? And then I think she would go defend the area with the rest of her community. Next up, if she were injured and required immediate assistance, would members of her hometown agree to help? She's generally well liked, so I'm gonna say yes. Yes, for that reason. Does she respect the laws and authorities of the community? Um, I kind of want to say when it suits her, but that's not necessarily the case because she kind of has uh, uh, a libertarian view of laws and authorities in the sense that in the sense that they are very much fallible and they could turn against her. So, but and as such, she would rather not incur their wrath. Uh, Whether or not when it suits her really if it's the case, like I imagine she would jaywalk or she would not pay parking tickets or stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I think this question applies most effectively. Do members of her hometown shun, avoid, or mock her? Uh, yeah, some do because she doesn't always fit in. Okay. Would she stand for office or seek to represent the interests of her community in some public manner? Only if no one else can do it. She is quite capable, but she doesn't. But she's very selective with her initiatives. Her country is racked with famine, which I think she would do this, like try to build and the idea being that she would try to establish something of a support network. Next up, if offered enough money, would she slip poison into a king's drink? Again, knowing nothing about the king, it's likely she would be tempted, but might not actually do it. Plague is sweeping across the country. She actually has a higher degree of healing expertise, but she might still go for the mission to find a cure, for pragmatic reasons. She would recognize that as the quickest way to put the plague to an end. Does she respect the lawful authority of the rulers of the land? To the extent to which they that authority would not go, would not go against her. So I'm gonna say she does have some level of skepticism towards authority. If she were offered a reasonably lucrative deal, would she spy for a hostile foreign power? I'm gonna say no. Not because she might get caught, but because she doesn't want to break the trust, not necessarily of her nation, but of her place of work. And she is military too, by the way. Does she rely on the government to enforce contracts and property rights? Okay. Let's see. Maintain the rule of law is more. No, she wouldn't think that. fact, because very much individual disputes are how the rule of law gets made, and therefore the rule of law can change through the force of various individual disputes. Courts are best equipped to handle such disputes. I really don't know what to. I really don't know what to say here. Because at least within her time, she notices that the government is actually capable of doing stuff, and she has some idea of what it is that of what makes an effective government. So she would not say that. I think she would say the courts are best equipped, even though. But there has to be a certain set of conditions that needs to apply in order for that to be the case. If imprisoned, would she injure or kill others to escape? Yes. Yes, she very much would. But not because it serves them right or whatever. It's because she knew the risks. Does she accept a noble's right to treat badly the serfs who work on? No. No one has any right to treat another badly. That's her opinion. She might not always like serfs, but dickish nobles upset her more than any serf could. She accidentally committed a crime, which she I think she would hide her involvement. Depends on the crime, but mostly I think she would try to hide it, and that might make coming out a little bit more difficult once it gets revealed. But I think this is what she would do. If guilty, would she confess to a crime? I think she would forward a plea of guilty to get a lighter sentence. But beyond that, no. The magistrate has to prove her guilt, and might get her a lighter sentence. This is actually tricky. If we're talking like the start of a trial where her where her guilt is still to be assessed, then I think she would more likely go. And I think this would be her attitude. The magistrate has to prove it. Would she express a revolutionary political opinion if threatened with punishment? I still think the answer to this I think could still be yes. Do I very much teeter here? No, I'm sticking with it. While traveling, she witnesses an assault. She's ordered to testify. Ordered by whom to testify? But I still think she will say, this is what she'll say. What is the best use of wealth? To help the destitute and less fortunate. This would still be her answer. Her and Martha have similar attitudes towards wealth. When confronted by beggars, she only gives what she wouldn't miss anyway, unless she outright ignores them. Let's see. And by using magic, she could. I could see her do. I could see any of these actually applying to her. Also, there's no way of knowing which merchants are rich and which merchants aren't. However, I think from a skill perspective, she could do it. So she might go for this. She has 2 job offers. One pays more, but the other is secure. She definitely she plans for the long term, even more so than Martha. So this would be her answer. What's the best path to wealth? Having following long-term plan that incorporates a comfortable level of risk, staying flexible. That's something she actually struggles with. It's a matter of luck and being in the right place at the right time. Not entirely, and she knows that. This would be her answer too. If she accepted a job or contract, would she try to finish a task even if it got much more dangerous? it's good to have a reputation for dependability. Okay. She could try to renegotiate, but I don't know. I think the reputation for dependability would be more important to her. Okay, let's see. What's her alignment? Chaotic good. Okay. I thought she'd be neutral, but I'm not surprised. A chaotic good character acts as their consciousness directs them with little regard for what others expect of them. They make their own way, but are kind and benevolent. They believe in goodness and right, but has little use for laws and regulations. They hate it when people try to intimidate others and tell them what to do. They follow their own moral compass, which, although good, may not agree with that of society. Chaotic good is the best alignment you can be because it combines a good heart with a free spirit. However, chaotic good can be a dangerous alignment when it disrupts the order of society and punishes those who... This last sentence is literally the same as the previous. Anyway, well, it looks like I was pretty close actually. Both to lawful and to neutral. Like, this is okay. Good to know. Next up, answering on Giulia's behalf, and I'm pretty sure she will get the exact same. Which, not gonna lie, would be kind of funny because Giulia and Elisabeth actually contrast each other in throughout the book in many ways. Okay, let's see. Family elders are expressing disapproval. She is more likely to seek a compromise, I want to say, Giulia. Would she give up a promising career to aid the family in a time of need? Maybe not necessarily in a heartbeat, but with some reluctance she would. Would Giulia betray a family member to advance her own career? If she could do it secretly, then yes, because again, advancing her career means protecting a nation. If, however, she has to pin like a crime on a family member, which does count as treason, she would definitely refuse to. But however, in general, I think she'd resist the temptation. That would be a more accurate way to say it. Does she respect the leaders of her family? Their words guide her actions? No. I think it's safer to say that they're role models. Next up, if her family had arranged her to marry someone loathsome, what would she do? I think she would subtly work against the union. Like, she's more of a free spirit in that regard. And while she likes her family, she recognizes that they don't always see eye to eye, and as such, she would try to disrupt the union. Next up, she's estranged from a family member. On their deathbed, the family member seeks reconciliation. What does she do? I think she would seek it out. I think she wants to, close that door in as elegant a manner as possible. She's also the most fervent believer of the main quartet. So it's likely she has some divine influence, making her adopt this decision. A powerful but corrupt judge offers her wealth if she'll testify against her friend. Oh, definitely. She'll definitely testify on a friend's behalf. Next up. Does she become close? Oh, she has, maybe not an abundance, but some close friends. Let's see. Has she ever betrayed someone? More than once and sometimes gotten away with it. She's been tempted, but I don't think she would go through with it. How does she view a lifelong commitment to a single romantic partner? She is somewhat skeptical. She would be somewhat skeptical of the idea, but if she found her ideal, she would very cleanly jump into it. Does she insist on repayment when lending money? she is more flexible, so this would be her answer. Is she still in touch with childhood friends? Yes, corresponding regularly. Does she donate time and money to improve the local community? I think this would be her most likely answer. Her community is friend with invasion. She would defend the area alongside the rest of the community. Let's see. What's up? If she were injured and required immediate assistance, would her hometown agree to help? I think this fits her. Does she respect the laws and authorities of the community? They're generally the best way to govern. Let's see. Do members of her hometown shun, avoid, or mock her? No, she's generally seen as normal. Let's see. Would she stand for office or seek to represent the interests of the community? I think she would. I think she would. I think she would. Jump into that kind of decision. Let's see. Next up, her country is racked with famine. Oh, she very much enjoys food, so this will be tricky. She might not share. She might not share all of her food, but she would. But she would share. But she would share the rest of what she doesn't have. If offered enough money, would she slip poison into a king's drink? No. She might be tempted to do so, but her ultimate answer would be no. A plague is sweeping the country. Again, dangerous mission is one answer that makes sense and that most makes sense to her. Respect the law. You respect the lawful authority. Yeah, this would be her answer too. Rulers know better than anyone else. If she were offered a reasonably lucrative deal, would she spy for a hostile foreign power? No. No, she wouldn't. And precisely for this reason as well. Also depends on the foreign power and what exactly makes it hostile and to whom. Generally, however, I think she would rather not violate the trust of her nation. Does she rely on the government to enforce contracts and property rights? Yeah, she's a little bit more chaotic in this regard. And I'm not necessarily a fan of what some governments can do. If imprisoned, would she kill or injure others to escape? Yes. They noticed when they took the job, or yes, serves them right for locking her up. Depends on who is locking her up. If she's locked up by an enemy, or actually, if escape comes to question, then she recognizes that she's wrongfully locked up. So I think she would go, yeah, serves them right. Does she accept the noble's right to treat? No, she would not. She accidentally committed a crime. Turn herself in, and yeah, she would confess to it. Pretty sure. Would she express a revolutionary political opinion if threatened with punishment? Somebody's got to speak the truth, or I'd rather be punished and remain silent. I kind of want to go with this. I think this answer makes the most sense to her approach. While traveling, she witnesses an assault. She's ordered to testify, which will delay her travel. Again, ordered by whom? If it's a local course, then that might not matter to her as a member of the military. No, wait. If she's ordered to leave regardless of court orders, then I think she might. But if the military says nothing one way or another, I think she would Yeah, I think she could do this. What is the best use of wealth? Maybe provide for the needs of friends and family. Okay, to her, friends and family is a larger circle than than the other people I've done this quiz for. And while the destitute and less fortunate, she kind of has her own ideas on how on how that on how that works, or how people become destitute and less fortunate. And there are other opportunities available for them to some extent. When confronted by beggars, I'm gonna say she's most likely to ignore them. By using magic, she could fool village merchants into thinking copper pieces are made of gold. She wouldn't do that. She has 2 job offers. One pays more, but the other is more secure. Probably lucrative. Probably lucrative job. Definitely lucrative job. Steady work sounds like drudgery. She doesn't necessarily have the opinion that steady is drudgery. Rather she has the opinion that the content of work, of certain kinds of work, is drudgery. I'm gonna say probably the lucrative one, though she will look into the secure one. Best path to wealth: staying flexible. Next up, if she accepted a job or contract, would she try to finish it? I think she'd renegotiate. She'd renegotiate or go, my word is my bond. I don't necessarily see her caring for a reputation of dependability. Might also depend on the job or contract itself. Yeah, I think she'd go more the pragmatic approach and renegotiate. So, what is her alignment? Neutral good. Okay. A neutral good character does the best a good person can do. They are devoted to helping others. They work with kings and magistrates, but don't feel beholden to them. Neutral good is the best alignment because you can be because it means doing what is good without bias for or against order. However, neutral good can be a dangerous alignment because when it advances mediocrity by limiting the actions of the truly capable. And this is the breakdown of my answers. Yeah, okay. Got it. And now, last but not least, Viktor. My one, the one Y chromosome in my main cast. Should have water by my side. Never mind. So, question 1. Family elders express disapproval of him to the rest of the family. Okay, Viktor is an orphan, so I'm gonna have to think a little bit on this. Does he accept criticism, seek compromise? I think he's more likely to go this, silence them. Like he's not overtly or openly confrontational, but the decisions he makes because he believes in them, and therefore has little reason to listen to the little reason to listen to criticism of his family, unless somehow that criticism touches him more directly. So maybe it could be something else, but I see him more going this way, because besmirching the reputation is too much work. Would he give up a promising career to aid the family in a time of need? Only if he was certain he could be able to return to his career. That matters to him, having his own thing that he can handle. Would he betray a family member to advance his own career? Again, see what I said about the military. I think he would if he could do it secretly. Does he respect the leaders of his family? He might not say out of touch with reality, but he would say out of touch with life, or with his life. If his family had arranged his marriage, he would subtly work against the union, because again, if his family, because he has that, again, he also has that perspective. If if he is embedded in his family to where he can arrange marriages, he'd rather work. He realizes it makes more sense to work within that framework than try to break it apart. There are pragmatic reasons why he would have to stay. He's estranged from a family member. On their deathbed, the family member seeks reconciliation. What would I think morbid curiosity would push him to speak. They might not see eye to eye, but I think I think Viktor being recognized as a strong independent figure would be more important to him than the approval of this dying family member. Next up, a powerful but corrupt judge offers him wealth if he'll testify against the friend. Refuse the offer, refuse to testify. I'm gonna say that's his most likely. Take the money and testify, but try to keep it. That actually sounds more like him. Try to keep the testimony ineffective. I think he does have that level of defiance to authority that would that would make him waste an entire court's time. It would be funny to him. Does he become close to friends, or hold most people at a safe distance? I'm gonna say he has few close friends. Next up, has he ever betrayed a friend? Yeah, him too. He also did it once. How does he view lifelong commitment to a single romantic partner? Such romance would be ideal if achievable, or he has or wants it. I think he could be flexible enough to go one way or another. I don't know. I think heartache does really. The idea of heartache would actually bother him. So I think this is the best. This is the most applicable answer to him. If it's achievable, such a romance would be ideal. He doesn't actively seek it out, but but if the opportunity presents itself, he'll definitely jump on it. Does he insist on repayment when lending money to friends? Well, it's lending, so the idea of it coming back is so the idea is that it would come back. So he would try to be flexible here. Is he still in touch with childhood friends? He would try. Definitely he would try. Does he donate time and money to improve the local community? What would his answer be? I think this one, and he doesn't have the time or money. Let's see. Community is threatened with invasion. He would definitely, he would defend the area with the rest of the community. Next up, if he were injured and required immediate assistance, would members of his hometown agree to help? Okay, he actually has kind of a controversial reputation here because he kind of ruffles some feathers. Is he distrusted to the point where the answer would be no? Well, the answer is no. It's probably not, and he does actually have some figures who care about him, but not all of them. So this would be the question. This would be the answer. Does he respect the laws and authorities of the community? When it suits him. When it suits him can also mean when they're not trying to screw him over. So this would be my answer. Do members of his hometown shun, avoid, or mock him? Some do, because he doesn't always fit in. He definitely doesn't always fit in. Would he stand for office or seek to represent the interests of the community in some public manner? Only if no one else can do it. And that would be his answer. His country is racked with famine. Would he share what food he has? Eat as little as possible. Okay, famine is a very tricky, very tricky problem for him to confront. He has his own issue with his own issues with shortages and such. I think he would most likely, share his food. Next up, if offered enough money, would he slip a poison into his king's drink? If he is in a position to do so, and if he recognizes that that the money might be of benefit to him, and he realized that whoever would come out would replace the king, wouldn't be bad, or at least wouldn't be bad to him. That's a ton of conditions, but ultimately I think he would go with yes. Keep in mind, get away with it doesn't just mean not being caught. It also means not being accused and not being tried. So anyway, this is my question. This is my answer to the question. It turns out these these questions don't exactly have a lot of flexibility. But then again, that is kind of the point. What would you do? What would you do in general? What are your presumptions about? What are your presumptions about the answers? Anyway, moving on. A plague is sweeping across the country. He would. I think he would also go on the. I think he would also go on a mission. Because he is military. He has dedicated himself to putting his life on the line to improve the community. Next up, do you respect the lawful authority of the rulers of the land? No. Rulers are invariably corrupted by power. I don't think he would think that, but he would recognize that rulers are iffy. If offered a reasonably lucrative deal, would he spy for a hostile foreign power? He'd never violate the trust his nation puts in him. I think the trust of the nation doesn't actually matter that much to him. He has seen it. He has seen it played around with quite a bit. I ultimately think. I think this would concern him more, getting caught. Does he rely on the government to enforce contracts and property rights? I think in this sense, he is somewhat more likely to be critical of the government. So I'm gonna say this answer applies to him as well. If imprisoned, would he injure or kill others to escape? I don't know. They knew the risks and they took it. I don't think he would. I think he would not seek out to injure or kill people. He would try to do so as cleanly as possible. Whether or not that requires injury or murder is a tricky question to address. Ultimately, I think this would be his answer. Does he accept the noble's right to treat the serfs who work on his land badly? No. This definitely applies to him. He definitely has that. He definitely doesn't think anyone has any right to applying bad treatment. He accidentally committed a crime. What would he do? Hide his involvement. Most of the time, the answer is hiding his involvement. If guilty, would he confess? Depends on the crime, but again, it's up to them. This would be his answer. Does he express revolutionary political opinion if threatened with punishment? Would he say No, he would not say politics are worth talking about, because politics in many ways have influenced his life as an orphan more than the average life. So I don't think he would go revolutionary. I don't think he would go I don't think he would really express it. I think he wants to keep it himself, but still keep it to himself, but still spread the word. Next up, while traveling, he's witnesses an assault, is ordered to testify. This one applies to him as well. What is the best use of wealth? He doesn't really care for it one way, one way or another. I'm gonna say, but to the extent to which it exists, I think he would say this is the most applicable answer, given that he has been in that position of destitute and less fortunate as well. When confronted by beggars, I think he would give moderately. By using magic, those merchants have families. Would he think that? Well, okay. It also depends on how broke he is. But if he could afford to pay with just gold, then I think he'll just pay with gold. Not necessarily because it's too risky, but because he doesn't care too much one way or another. So yeah, I'll say this is what I'll stick with. He has 2 job offers. One pays more, but the other is secure and steady. He definitely goes for the long term. So this is his answer. What's the best path to wealth? I think this would be his answer. Long-term plan. It is to some extent a matter of luck, but it's not just a matter of luck. Also keep in mind that wealth isn't just something you have, it's something you keep. And I think he would see this answer as the best way to keep wealth and therefore stay within that position, which he would consider the best path. Next up, if he accepted a job or contract, would he try to finish the task even if it got much more dangerous? He's I think likely to renegotiate. Beyond that, however, I don't think he necessarily goes to his word is my bond. Days for dependability. If it's no longer a good deal, then the deal is off. I don't think he'd go that far. I think he would renegotiate. Okay, let's see what he is. Neutral good too. Okay. Did not expect that, and it was actually a little bit closer this time. It was pretty close between neutral and chaos, but it turns out good won out. Yeah. And yeah, that was it. Those are the alignments of my main characters. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you for your attention. If you did enjoy it, well then please like the video and maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If you have anything to add, either to the quiz or to how I presented my characters, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and The Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out, should you choose to. Additionally, you have the option of supporting me on Patreon, where depending on the level at which you pledge, you'll receive various perks, the specifics of which I will allow you to research for yourselves, assuming that would interest you. I also have a second channel where I talk about whatever it is that interests me. You can also find that somewhere here. If not, then you can stay on this channel and go through my quite extensive backlog, or you can do whatever you want with your time. It's your time after all. Anyways, until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.